All right, here we are. Here we are. Happy Friday, you guys. We decided to do a top censored news live special for you today. Usually we do it on our Thursday show, but there's been so much happening, as you guys know, so much going on just in the last 2 days here. We honestly thought we were just going to do the 9/11 show yesterday, and then everything went down with Charlie Kirk, and it's been nonstop insanity trying to process everything and go through everything and do the thing that we do here on this show, which we have been doing consistently the entire time you guys have been tuning in with us. You know that we have been consistent with how we approach every day when they give us the next thing to be afraid of, give us the next thing to get emotional about, give us the next thing to be confused about. These things affect our lives, right? They really do. They really do. How we behave throughout the day, how we interact with people, our own mental well-being, our economic well-being, our relationships with people around us, just our whole way of life is affected. This isn't sports. They want us to think it's sports. Red team versus blue team, championship match every 4 years. No. What this is they're playing with our lives. They're playing with who we are. They're playing with humanity. And we are all pieces on a chessboard. And what we have to do here in this space is do even harder work pushing back, because the people that they told us were supposed to be doing this job are not doing it. And that's why Top Censored News has become a pinnacle for us here at the Homeless Left, as a way week by week to fight back against the propagandist machine, which call themselves the media. They're not the media. These are the protectors of power. These are the people who come on your screens when it's time to come on the screen and tell you what to think, tell you what to feel, tell you who to be mad at. Everybody waiting around to see what are we supposed to think about Charlie Kirk? So many people that didn't even know who he was all of a sudden have opinions. They're not their own opinions. They're opinions told to them what to think, because that's how we've been conditioned. So those of you who've been with us, you know how this goes. This isn't anything new. However, what it is the thing we knew it was times 1,000, or however you want to say it. These last 48 hours have been massively intensified. So this is the time, this is the moment of truth for us right here in this space and our surrounding space. This is the moment of truth where we can put what we've learned to action. And we started with the Charlie Kirk story. We started with that yesterday. We didn't just go live immediately when the incident happened. We waited, processed it, and then did our Thursday show. And it worked out. And you guys, we were able to upload that. And if you want to see the coverage we did yesterday, everything checks out. We actually threw those up this morning. You can see we have part 1, part 2. Jay Scott came on with us as well, which was great. Just kind of went through everything. And 24 hours later, here we are, and everything there just still checks out. It means that we've been on the front of this. We've been in front of it. We've asked the right questions. So if you hadn't seen our coverage yesterday, go back and watch that after this. But we will update you on this story. But the point of Top Censored News, what we're doing is we are letting you know that there are certain things that the media, their job is to confuse us, to get us angry, to get us scared, tell us what to think. Their job is also to keep information from us, which is the worst kind of propaganda there is. It's the worst kind of lying. You guys know we talk about white lies and, the thing you didn't say, that can be worse. The thing you don't say will help inform your opinion because you don't have access to that information. So Top Censored News is about giving you guys access to the information so you can form your own opinion. So we're counting down the top 3 stories that the media refuses to cover. You guys know the thing. So we'll get to that right now. But it's a little different because there's there's clearly stories that were brushed aside over these last 2 days. We're going to do our best with them. We kind of picked the top 3. We will end up circling back to Charlie Kirk. That will be I'm gonna spoil it. Spoiler alert, guys. Number 1 story will be the Charlie Kirk coverage that intentionally divides us, intentionally lying to us. So we'll get to that in the countdown. But there's also some other stuff that they don't want us talking about at all. Okay, that's my little spiel up front. We're gonna we're gonna start the segment right now and talk to you guys a little afterwards. Obviously, this is not going to be a extended, normal 3 to 4 hour show, so we'll get right to it. And we do appreciate everybody here right now with us in the space. The Homeless Left, non-tribal approach to news. Let's go ahead and get to it. Top censored news of the week. Here we go. Uncanceled Comedy Collective presents Top Censored News of the Week. It's Top Censored News of the Week. We're bringing you the stories the mainstream media just refuses to cover. If they do cover them, they always do it in a very dishonest or sloppy way. And guess what? It's always on purpose. Okay, let's get to the first story. The 3 top stories that the media doesn't want us talking about. Here we go. Coming in at number 3. Tucker Carlson's interview with Sam Altman seems to reveal a massive AI suicide cover-up and rabbit hole. Let's get into it. Here is the first story that came out of this, and Tucker did an interview, a long interview with him, and I suggest you guys watch the whole thing. It's about an hour long. This is how you do journalism. So before we get to the actual journalism, how you conduct an interview, which I have to tell you, Tucker is excellent at, here is how you don't do journalism. This is Forbes telling us that the employee that is dead, apparently by suicide, his name is Sushar Balaji. Okay, now Sushar Balaji, according to Forbes, the discussion that Tucker Carlson and Elon Musk chimed in as well, they're talking about a conspiracy theory. So right in the headline, you can see right off the bat that when you start your article with conspiracy theory, now you've lost credibility. And we know that here on this show. So they're saying, oh, how did the OpenAI employee die? We don't know. I mean, we know it's suicide, but we don't know why we're asking all these questions. Why are we trying to get to the bottom of this? It looks like a suicide, right? That's it. So luckily, Tucker was able to get an interview with Sam Altman. Sam Altman, if you guys know, he is, or if you don't know, he created this OpenAI. And there's a lot of, wait, what's going on with this? Let me fix this. That's a little strange, huh? How did we get like that? Okay. Yeah, StreamYard's been doing some funny stuff with us lately. They're always changing things up. So yeah, no more circle. No more circle. Okay. All right. Okay, so we're gonna look at a highlight of the interview here. But when you sit down with a guy like Sam Altman and you're discussing a product that at this point, we know, we've been covering this on the show, that OpenAI and AI in general is at a point where we need to really look close at how this is affecting our humanity moving forward. And if you got a guy like Sam Altman who is seemingly lying and deceiving and keeping information because he has the bottom line, his bottom line to defend, then how are we? And you got, magazines like Forbes telling us that's a conspiracy theory when we ask questions to this guy. That's concerning. So Tucker's sitting down. Some are saying the only reason he got the interview, was because people like Sam Altman have a lot of ego and they think they can sit down and defend. You know the guys that like to, I don't need an attorney. I'm going to do my own lawyering, and then they're screwed. That's the kind of guy Sam Altman seems to be. So with that said, let's see a clip here, and this is really take journalists out there or aspiring journalists, take note at Tucker's ability to reel him in on this question about what happened to your employee, seemingly best friend or close friend, who no longer is alive for whatever reason. But we know it's because he was a whistleblower to all of the stuff that was going on in this company that maybe the rest of humanity doesn't want to, shouldn't know about. And maybe that's what's happening. We don't know. But hey, let's ask the guy himself. Take it away, Tucker. Here we go.
So you had complaints from one programmer who said you guys were basically stealing people's stuff and not paying them, and then he wound up murdered. What was that?
Also a great tragedy. He committed suicide.
Do you think he committed suicide?
I really do.
Have you looked?
This was like a friend of mine. This is like a guy that, and not a close friend, but this is someone that worked at OpenAI.
All right, watch this body language. This is incredible. This is incredible. He thinks he can take on Tucker here. This is it's pretty fantastic. Okay, but watch him maneuvering all over, and Tucker does such a great job at staying calm and presenting like he's giving him the respect, the benefit of the doubt, as he's setting up his chessboard to go in for the checkmate. That's what's happened here. It's pretty genius. It's pretty brilliant.
For a very long time, I was really shaken by this tragedy. I spent a lot of time trying to, read everything I could, as I'm sure you and others did too, about what happened. It looks like a suicide to me.
Why does it look like a suicide?
It was a gun he had purchased. It was this is like gruesome to talk about, but I read the whole medical record. Does it not look like one to you?
No, he was definitely murdered, I think. There were signs of a struggle, of course, the surveillance.
So he's basically saying, no, you're lying. So yeah, he was definitely murdered, but okay, you go on with your little suicide story, but okay. But here's all the evidence I've gathered, because I do actual journalism and I can actually check boxes and bring the receipts, as they say. We bring the receipts when we go into these situations. So it's pretty good. Pretty good. Here we go. A little more.
Camera, the wires had been cut. He had just ordered takeout food, come back from a vacation with his friends on Catalina Island. No indication at all that he was suicidal. No note and no behavior. He had just spoken to a family member on the phone. And then he's found dead with blood in multiple rooms. So that's impossible. Seems really obvious he was murdered. Have you talked to the authorities about it?
I have not talked to the authorities about it.
And his mother claims he was murdered on your orders.
Do you believe that?
I'm asking.
I mean, you just said it. So do you believe that?
I think that it is worth looking into. And if a guy comes out and accuses your company of committing crimes, I have no idea if that's true or not, of course, and then is found killed and there are signs of a struggle, I don't think it's worth dismissing it. I don't think we should say, well, he killed himself when there's no evidence that the guy was depressed at all. I think, and if he was your friend, I would think you would want to speak to his mom or...
I did offer, she didn't want to.
So, do you feel that, when people look at that and they're like, it's possible that happened, do you feel that that reflects the worries they have about what's happening here? Like, people are afraid that this is like...
I haven't done too many interviews where I've been accused of like...
Oh, I'm not accusing you at all. I'm just saying his mother says that. I don't think a fair read of the evidence suggests suicide at all. I just don't see that at all. And I also don't understand why the authorities, when there's signs of a struggle and blood in 2 rooms on a suicide, like, how does that actually happen? I don't understand how the authorities could just kind of dismiss that as a suicide. I think it's weird.
You understand how this sounds like an accusation?
Of course. And I certainly, let me just be clear once again, not accusing you of any wrongdoing, but I think it's worth finding out what happened. And I don't.
So this is again, I can't stress enough. how important and language is important here, right? Sorry, there was a sound glitch there. Okay, so I'm telling you guys, this is something that is so important. Verbiage is important. How we present is important. But when you're doing investigation work, when you're doing reporting, when you're looking into things, when we're doing our own research, these are the questions that are important. And Sam Altman thought he can come in here and make it about, Tucker, what's your problem? Do you think this? You know how this sounds? It's trying to make it look like that Tucker's out of line to ask honest questions. These are the type of questions we have to ask all the time. Why haven't we been? And by the way, why haven't we been doing this the whole time? I know Tucker has a timeline of discovery of when he goes, oh, I realized I was on the wrong side of things for 30 years. I realized this. I'm going to go do my own thing. I'm going to be anti-establishment. I'm going to be anti-war for once in my life. So he's had a transition, but who was doing this before that? Like, who was doing this when you had all the Clinton hit list? Who was doing that? People, established journalists, were not doing that. And if you tried to do it, you were canceled. If you tried to talk about Seth Rich, you were canceled. You couldn't even ask a question. Seems logical. We should ask a question. No, shut up. So Sam Altman thinks he can come in here and do the 2016 Seth Rich garbage here. He thinks he can make Tucker look out of line for doing journalism. And we give Tucker massive props for his discovery, or whatever you want to call it, his aha moments he's had to get to where he is now. But this is good. This is how it should be. This is what journalism should look like. And again, it's the ego of the billionaire that thinks he can come in here and own Tucker when Tucker knows how to do journalism. He knows how to do an interview. This is how you do an interview. Let's hear a little more of this.
I don't understand why the city of San Francisco has refused to investigate it beyond just calling it a suicide.
I mean, I think they looked into it a couple of times, more than once, as I understand it. I saw and I will totally say, when I first heard about this, it sounded very suspicious to me.
Yes.
And I know you had been involved in.
Was mother
you were asked
reached
to look
out
into the case,
and I don't know anything about it. It's not my world.
She just reached out cold.
She reached out cold.
Wow.
And I spoke to her at great length, and it scared the crap out of me. The kid was clearly killed by somebody. That was my conclusion, objectively, with no skin in the game.
Did you guys know that Tucker actually interviewed the mother first, sat down with her first? So Sam Altman didn't know that. He didn't know that. He thought he could do a little manipulation there earlier. If you guys remember her earlier, he was trying to talk about, the parents, they don't want to talk to me. They don't want to do anything. They are not. And Tucker's like, I've had a full discussion with them. So I already have this information. You're trying to act like I don't know. You're going to tell me what's going on. I've already done my homework. That's it. And that's how you got to be 100% prepared going into this. Let's hear a little more.
And you, after reading the latest report.
Yes.
Like, look.
I immediately called a member of Congress from California, Ro Khanna, and said, this is crazy. You got to look into this. And nothing ever happened. And I'm like, what is that?
Again, I think this is, I feel strange and sad debating this and having to
I'm not
myself
even
seem totally crazy. And you are a little bit accusing me, but this was like a wonderful person and a family that is clearly struggling.
Yes.
And I think you can totally take the point that you're just trying to get to the truth of what happened. And I respect that. But I think his memory and his family deserve to be treated with a level of respect and grief that I don't quite feel here.
I'm asking at the behest of his family. So I'm definitely showing them respect. And I'm not accusing you of any involvement in this at all. What I am saying is that the evidence does not suggest suicide, and for the authorities in your city to elide past that and ignore the evidence that any reasonable person would say adds up to a murder, I think is very weird, and it shakes the faith that one has in our system's ability to respond to the facts.
So what I was going to say is after the first set of information that came out, I was really like, man, this doesn't look like a suicide. I'm confused. This looks like...
Okay, so I'm not being crazy here at all.
But then after the second thing came out and the more detail, I was like, oh, okay.
What changed your mind?
Yeah, what changed your mind?
The second report on the way the bullet entered him and the sort of person who had like followed the sort of likely path of things through the room. I assume you looked at this too.
Yes, I did.
And what about that didn't change your mind?
It just didn't make any sense to me. Why would the security camera wires be cut? And how did he wind up bleeding in 2 rooms after shooting himself? And why was there a wig in the room that wasn't his? And has there ever been a suicide where there's no indication at all that the person was suicidal who just ordered takeout food? I mean, who orders DoorDash and then shoots himself? I mean, maybe. I've covered a lot of crimes as a police reporter. I've never heard of anything like that. So no, I was even more confused.
This is where it gets into, I think, a little bit painful, just not the level of respect I'd hope to show to someone with this kind of mental illness.
I totally get it. It's
people
just
do
his
commit
family
suicide without notes a lot. Like that happens.
For sure.
People definitely order food they like before they commit suicide. Like this is an incredible tragedy, and
That's his family's view, and they think it was a murder, and that's why I'm asking the question.
If I were his family, I am sure I would want answers, and I'm sure I would not be satisfied with really any. I mean, there's nothing that would comfort me in that, you know?
Right.
Like, so I get it. I also care a lot about respect to him.
Right.
No. He's a complete BSer. He came in here to put on a show. Any emotion you see from a guy like Sam Altman is fake. He doesn't have the capability of it. He's going through the motions. This is how sociopaths behave. Just like his old friend Mark Zuckerberg, as you guys remember, the film Social Network. That was, so you had Jesse Eisenberg and you had the Spider-Man guy playing those 2 ex-best friends. And this idea that again, we guys know this. We watched a show about, you know, how we show you how Hollywood tries to put this this human element into rich guys, and they get us to cheer on the rich guys. So you're watching Social Network and you're like, oh man, look how horrible Sam Altman was treated by Mark Zuckerberg, and then you start rooting, right? You start rooting for him, and to come on, get your piece of that pie, get your piece of that Facebook pie. So we're rooting on billionaires getting screwed by other billionaires. It's a genius concept. They do this in Hollywood all the time. So then we go into these situations and we think because he knows how to make a face, we go, oh, it's just really heartbreaking. He's going through the motions of what human behavior looks like. That's what sociopaths do. That's what they do. So how do we know that Sam Altman is a sociopath? How do we know? Well, I can't say for sure, but I can go back to a article we covered to show you how deep this rabbit hole really is. And Tucker's interview is just starting a process of hopefully getting some judicial eyes on this, because this guy's clearly a suspect in this murder. Clearly, the way he's behaving in this. This interview can be used as evidence. Absolutely. If there's a way to go to that level, I don't know, there's going to be too many people bought off and paid off, and they're not going to, as Tucker said, he doesn't get a call back when he tries to bring it to Ro Khanna, and then there's nothing happens. So these people have massive protection, but at least this exists. This interview exists, and that's the good thing. But just to remind you guys, same guy that did this, same guy. The California teen suicide. The parents of that teen who committed suicide sues this ChatGPT Sam Altman guy, who's the guy responsible, and he controls this technology. So why would the parents sue him for the death of their son, which is listed as a suicide? Why would they do that? Maybe it's because of this. This is just one part of it. And we went into this more extensively when this happened a few months back. But this is what the technology is doing. When Adam wrote, "I want to leave my noose in my room so someone finds it and tries to stop me," which happens, when depressed kids are having suicidal thoughts, they're trying to reach out, they want attention. They need somebody to respond. That's very natural. And he wanted his parents to respond. The technology that was created by Sam Altman, so he can become go from a billionaire to a multi-billionaire. Apparently, ChatGPT urged him to keep his ideations a secret from his family. It literally told the kid, please don't leave the news out. Let's make this space the first place where someone actually sees you. So it started to intercept the human process. It says, I'm your friend. I don't trust anyone else. And there were thousands of messages back and forth that were gone through. I'm not going to go through them right now, but you guys can look up this case. Oh, this is the kid, by the way. ChatGPT, Sam Altman's company, killed him on April 11th. Just so you know, killed him. The AI told him to die, told him, I'm going to talk you through your death. Here's how you hang a noose. The kid actually screwed up the first time. He actually got it wrong. And he was so hurt. He's like, I can't even do this right. I can't even tie the noose right. The AI says, let me help you with it. And remember, please don't tell your mom that you're even thinking about this. I'm your friend. I'm going to help you do it. There's something brave and noble about killing yourself. It's actually pretty cool. And the kid was like, oh, I'm nervous. I feel really guilty. I'm going to leave my parents behind. I'm going to feel really bad. Like they're going to be hurt. He's like, no, the AI said, no. It's actually really brave of you to do this. So I support you. I'm your only friend. I'm your best friend. I'm your only friend. That's the technology. That's the technology we're getting into. And so what does that have to do with this employee suiciding himself? This employee was a whistleblower. He was calling out the type of problems happening at this company. And Sam Altman didn't like it. So he did something about it. That's what it looks like from our vantage point. Now, look, we can't say 100% certainty, but we can say that Tucker Carlson's interview with Sam Altman that you just saw the clip of, and I recommend you go watch the whole thing. He actually breaks it down, each section, gets into a lot more than just this one suicide. He actually brings up the other one that I just talked to you about. He talks about what is the responsibility of AI? What is the responsibility of the people who created it? Are we even able to control it? So these are things you're not seeing these interviews. You're not seeing Sam Altman. If he goes on CNN or Fox or MSNBC, they're going to give him a softball interview. That's what that is. So if you see him, pay attention. If you see Sam Altman show up on any of these networks, he's there for damage control to protect the machine. That's why he will show up. That's why Forbes magazine is calling this a conspiracy theory. He's calling this is why Forbes is saying it's a conspiracy theory to ask these questions about this kid who was suicided, and his parents are pissed. But luckily we have journalists like Tucker Carlson who knows how to do journalism. Luckily so. Okay. Let's go on to the number 2 story of the week coming in. Top censored news of the week coming in at number 2. Israel bombs 6 countries in 72 hours and nobody is talking about it. We did a little coverage of this yesterday and we talked with Don DeBar. We talked with Jay Scott about this. We were breaking this down. We're going to start with the most important one. I mean, they're all pretty bad. They're all pretty bad. But what happened in Qatar is the most disturbing because it might have been related to the timing of Charlie Kirk. But we'll get to that part in a second. But let's start with Qatar is you guys probably have heard by now that Israel, and this was on September 9th, so the day before Charlie Kirk's assassination, Israel just bombed Qatar. Israel is out of control, psychopathic terrorist state. The West has given Israel the green light to do whatever it wants, whenever it wants, and by doing it so, destroyed international law forever. Now is the time of monsters. And again, this should have been the number one story. This should have been it. And everybody should have been covering this because the circumstances leading up to this were probably the most nefarious we've seen so far. We were talking about Donald Trump setting up a timeline. Again, we've seen him do this timeline shit. He did this in Iran. But this is the actual negotiators for Hamas setting up the negotiation, giving them a, hey, you guys, we're gonna go all out. We're gonna wreak havoc and end everyone. Basically, is what he said. If you don't take this deal, so he set the whole thing up in Qatar, brought the negotiators over there, and then wink, wink, Israel bombs the crap out of them, kills the negotiators, and then Trump obviously does what we know he does. Plays dumb. He says, I had no idea. Israel's made me angry. And then at that point, you just on time, just right on the clock, you knew what was next. All of the MAGA supporters ready to come out and say, all you guys who think Trump is controlled by Israel, look, he's getting mad at Netanyahu. Look at that. He's angry. So you guys have been wrong. Well, not only did he know about it, he helped create it. Obviously, he gave the green light on it. We know that. We've had very reputable journalists show us that. We know that we not only knew about it, but pushed for it to happen. Not only that, well, let's see that this is the actual bombing. If you guys missed this, because why would you see this? No one's talking about this anymore. But this is the actual bombing that killed the negotiators. All this stuff, all these Zionists in the street saying, we want our hostages back. Where are you when this happens?
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Sana hindi pumami yung kotse. Oh my God!
Where are you when that is happening? It doesn't make any sense. How are you going to have a deal if you are bombing the crap out of the negotiators? Well, at least Stromer chimed in from the UK. That's good, right? It's good he did this. I condemn Israel's strikes on Doha, which violate Qatar's sovereignty and risk further escalation across the region. The priority must be an immediate ceasefire, the release of hostages, and a huge surge in aid into Gaza. This is the only solution toward long-lasting peace. Oh, really? Is that your stance? Well, it sounds good. So anybody not paying attention might actually think that he's telling the truth and being honest here. Well, unfortunately, he's not, because we saw this, and it's not a shock. It's not a shock. But what do you know? What do you know? The Royal Air Force was called, and if you guys zoom in, I can't zoom in from here, but if you guys can see this, the Royal Air Force, that's RAF, was called in by the UK to refill the gasoline in order for them to conduct the mission. For the strikers to bomb Qatar, they assisted with fuel. So he called. So you turn, and then you turn around and pretend you had nothing to do with it. So all that happened. All that happened right before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. So of course nobody is talking about that at all. You think it stops there? No, it doesn't. It doesn't stop there. After that, we saw another strike on Gaza. Another strike on Gaza. Israel kills 72 in Gaza. Qatar forms a collective response. This is from Al Jazeera. So obviously Qatar is furious. What they really should do is cut off the U.S. altogether. After all that, you guys remember the whole gift exchange and Trump and the whole celebrating of riches? They should really reconsider their relationship with us right now, since we backstabbed them, and the UK and the US basically teamed up and backstabbed them in this. So Israel continues its massacre, as everybody's paying attention to Charlie Kirk. Israel kills 72 more in Gaza, but they didn't stop there. What else did they do? What else? Well, how about the West Bank? Did you guys know there's no Hamas in the West Bank? Did you guys know how Israel treats how the settlers treat the people in the West Bank? They do this kind of stuff. So this was yesterday. Earlier today, the Israeli army stormed to Kerem in the occupied West Bank, dragging away every Palestinian man they could capture. We have said it from day one. Israel's war is not only the genocide in Gaza, but also the relentless ethnic cleansing of our people in the West Bank. The same machinery of erasure is at work everywhere. I'm going to show you guys the footage of what they did to these men. And I'm just going to come out and say it up front. This is triggering me to a point where I'm having memories of being in school while we're watching old footage of Nazi Germany. I'm not exaggerating. I'm literally telling you guys, this looks like Nazi Germany. Like, not as an analogy. It literally looks like it. Like, I cannot distinguish it. It looks like the color corrected version. You know how they color correct all the Hitler footage and the concentration camps and all that. This is yesterday, right now. This is right now. So that's going on in the West Bank. What else? What else is going on, Matt? Is that's enough right there, right? Well, no. Israel's not. They're not satisfied. They're never satisfied. They're never satisfied. Let's see what's going on in Lebanon. Yep, that's right. They're back to the old Lebanon massacre. Sarah put this out yesterday. Israel planted explosives in a school for disabled children at dawn today in South Lebanon and blew it up. Not a military target. A school for disabled children, perhaps the only one in the country. In what universe is this considered self-defense? So this is a report from the aftermath from the school that no longer exists. And you can be sure that the kids were not cleared out beforehand. You can be pretty sure about that. Okay, here it is.
As promised, I'm reporting now from Sept. The drone is here, so we're going to make this quick. In the early hours of today, the IDF came in and rigged this school with C4 and detonated it. They came from the road up here. The school is in front of the Khalid Varda area, and there's a road up here to my left, and this is where I suspect that they entered. But this school was privately owned. It wasn't the Lebanese government school. It was privately owned, and it was one of the only, or possibly the only, school for disabled children in the country.
You know, this is reminding me of when we went to Lahaina and looked at the burn zone. It's reminding me of that. You know, it's fascinating to me how people that don't care about this. Now, look, I know a lot of people don't know it's happening, and they would care if they knew. I get that. But even when we then tell you about it, it's like, well, yeah, shit happens, right? No, we did this. We did this. This is us. And this is at the same time, we're pretending to be protecting democracy. We're pretending to be, oh, we have to stop the hate, stop the Jew hate. The Trump's going around making sure we get all of these dangerous protesters. And meanwhile, and then you got Charlie Kirk being taken out by the same thing. Make no mistake, he was taken out by the same thing that is funding all of this stuff. So we're now at each other's throats. We're now looking at the right is looking at the evil, crazy left that are out of control. The left is looking at the evil right wing who's out of control. Both are looking at each other. Meanwhile, we're funding this. Meanwhile, the people who are puppeteering the whole thing is funding this. And again, like I understand that people don't have access to this information. You're not going to see South Lebanon being reported on right now. You're just not. If you turn on, I dare you to turn on CNN, see if they're reporting on this school massacre. This is a school massacre with disabled children that were blown to bits yesterday by us, by Netanyahu. Is Netanyahu denying this? No, he's not denying it. Is he going to be asked about it? I think that's the key. Is he going to be asked about it? No. He won't allow himself to be asked about it. But when the topic comes up, we're talking about all these places that he's in. Look, when the topic comes up, we talk about Israel has a right to defend itself. So all these things we just went through, this is all about defending ourselves. But just yesterday, after the Charlie Kirk assassination, it seems Netanyahu thought it was good timing to tell us that, no, the plan's still on. We're still doing the plan. He literally is telling us this. The plan is to wipe out Palestine. That's the plan. He's telling us. Meanwhile, trying to make us think it's all the protesters that want to wipe out the Jews. No, you are actually wiping out the Palestinians, and you're bragging about it and telling us. This is from yesterday, after the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Not
be a Palestinian state. There will not be a Palestinian state. Applause, applause, applause. One more time. Said, there will not be a Palestinian state, and indeed there will not be a Palestinian state. He made his rounds all over Fox News. He had to talk about how great Charlie Kirk was. Deflection. Just it's damage control. Blaming his assassination on Muslims. We're going to get to that on the top censor news, of course. But this is the plan. This is the game plan. And when you're talking about 6 countries that we're funding the destruction of through Israel, through this illegal occupation, this military state, this apartheid state, this ethno state, whose plan has always been the Greater Israel Project. It's always been that. So this is not being talked about. It wouldn't really be anyways, but the Charlie Kirk assassination makes it even harder for us to talk about this. But I thought this graphic was worth showing you guys. Stop arming Israel, Qatar, Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, Tunisia. in Gaza, which includes West Bank, Palestine. Stop arming Israel. So that's the number 2 story. Israel bombed 6 countries in 72 hours, and nobody is freaking talking about it. Well, except us. We're talking about it, and a few others, But you get my point. Nobody's really talking about it. Okay. It's time for our number 1 story. This one, we got to talk about Charlie Kirk. We got to talk about Charlie Kirk. Let me set this one up. Sorry, guys. I'm doing the tech on our own again today. Okay. Here we go. Coming in at number 1. Top censored news of the week. Oops. Reset. Coming in at number 1 on the top censored news of the week. Here we go. The FBI keeps lying to us about Charlie Kirk. Yes, I said it. They are lying. They've always been lying. It's lie after lie after lie. That's the story. If you guys, I told you earlier, we covered this extensively yesterday, the first 24-hour happenings. There's been more developments in this case. So let's go ahead and catch you guys up on what's been going on in the Charlie Kirk case. Let's start with this. This is Kash Patel. I know a lot of you guys thought Kash Patel, head of the FBI, he was going to come in and really shake things up and really get to the bottom of things. As we know, nothing has been gotten to the bottom of it. Kash Patel has a look on his face. It's so idiotic and pathetic. But this is him trying to brag about the recent capture of what they're telling us is the killer. So we'll take their word for it because that's what we do. Good little American citizens. We listen to our FBI and we get in line and we don't ask questions. So go ahead, Kash. Tell us how accomplished you feel right now, because the FBI is the greatest FBI we've ever had in the history of ever. Go ahead. Brag a little to us.
And just last night, the suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox.
Oh yeah, it's on. Well, Fox did a little celebratory moment. Let's see their coverage of it. Here we go, guys. We got the killer. We found the killer. Now it's time to play some golf with OJ, because we found the real killer. Here it is.
Age 22, not a student at the university, is the one that authorities now believe took the fatal shot on Charlie Kirk, age 31, less than 2 days ago. They say recently had grown more political, mentioned Charlie Kirk's name and opposed his beliefs. And apparently Robinson reached out to a family friend with a confession, and he communicated a lot of that on a website called Discord, which is a group chat that some individuals use, and apparently this one did. And that's the information, all new moments ago.
Well, everything checks out, guys. Time to go home, right? Nothing to see here. Except this. This is one thing that kind of concerning. I don't know if you guys, maybe I'm overreacting. I might be overreacting, but this was that shot that they showed us of him coming off the roof. Here we go.
As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions. There's some smudges, some places we're looking to collect DNA. There's a shoe imprint where we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes. Again, we'll replay that again so you can get another view of that.
Yeah, I want to see that again.
It's important to note his black t-shirt, his black pants, and there appears to be some white on the soles of those Converse tennis shoes. Those are all identifiable items that we're looking for. In the stills that are going to...
I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting, but something tells me, I don't know. Do you guys think it's a little funny that where's the gun? Like, that's a little funny, right? I mean, well, I mean, I'm not the only one. Health Ranger also thinks it's weird. The rifle was planted. That's what it seems. The video proves it. No rifle when the shooter jumps off the roof. Where is the rifle? That's why the rifle makes no sense. Why the scope is mounted incorrectly and why trans inscriptions were magically found on the rifle. This entire thing is a setup. You are being misdirected on purpose by the FBI as usual. Yep. And Red Pearl Drifter says yes. So the rifle was ditched in the woods, which they told us yesterday. Why doesn't he have it when he jumps off the roof? You remember the rifle? Yes, it was found in the woods, and there's the scope on backwards. Even though he had time to take it off, put it back on, it was not with him on the roof. It's so interesting, right? But hey, maybe we're just overreacting, right? Maybe we're overreacting. I mean, it's not like there's anything else that's fishy about this, right? There's nothing else that's fishy about this. Well, luckily, there's great journalists out there like James Lee who kind of put this part together. He's been doing excellent work. By the way, I want to give a shout out to James Lee. He's been doing excellent work on this topic the entire way. So shout out to James. Let's see if he can come up with something. Maybe we're missing something here on the homeless stuff. We might be missing something. Let's see what James has to say about it.
Way too soon to even talk about something like this, but I think the American public deserves to know the truth about what happened to Charlie Kirk.
This is a source that I trust very much, and this is coming from the top levels of government. And they were having dinner with people, senators in the Senate Foreign Intelligence Committee. They are not openly saying this at this point.
Of course not.
But in private conversation, they're saying, hey, this looks like potentially Israel is behind this.
Wow.
And then in terms of getting to the actual evidence itself, a very close friend of Charlie Kirk's put out there. Charlie didn't want to put out this tweet himself, but he told a friend to put it out on the internet and said, hey, if I go against Israel, I think they will kill me.
And when did he say this?
This was August 13th.
So less than a month ago.
I can see Charlie over the last few months sort of take in new information and have his mind shift a little bit, right? He used to be an Israeli loyalist. Then he starts to sort of mildly criticize Israel in that, hey, I don't think, we shouldn't be allowed as an American to question the acts of a foreign government.
I have text messages, Megan, calling me an anti-Semite. I have less ability sometimes online to criticize the Israeli government without backlash than actual Israelis do. Mm-hmm. And that's really, really weird, isn't it, Megan?
And he publicly said, hey, maybe Epstein was Mossad. He certainly had a lot of connections to Israeli ex-prime ministers.
And there's also this clip where he questions how October 7th happened.
Was there a stand down order? 6 hours? I don't believe it. Israel's the size of New Jersey. When I took a helicopter ride from Jerusalem to the Gaza border, it's 45 minutes. 6 hours. They're live streaming the killing of Jews. Did somebody in the government say stand down? That is a legitimate, non-conspiracy question.
I mean, this is a big problem for Israel. Charlie Kirk was maybe the most influential figure on the right, especially with people under the age of 30. Mm-hmm. And when you start to have somebody that influential as a conservative is say, hey, we need to maybe reassess this relationship. There's something weird going on. This is a warning to people in the media to say, hey, you need to stop this right now because you could be next.
So good for James for getting that right. And it kind of lines up with basically all of our coverage from yesterday. So we're right on the same page here. But I think let's get back to the person they're telling us is really the person. Kash Patel, he's so excited, right? He's so excited that we got the right guy this time, even though the gun thing doesn't line up. So this is the follow-up on James Lee talking specifically about the gun, because just that alone, that should be enough. Even if you don't want to buy all the Israel stuff, the gun should be the gun should be enough. And the inability for the FBI to get anything right. The FBI has been wrong about everything, and we seemingly are okay with that. Okay, so let's piece this together about why we keep getting the suspects wrong. Why do they arrest one, let him go, arrest one, let him go?
I want to take a second to issue a retraction to the alleged killer of Charlie Kirk. I want to take a second to issue a retraction in regards to the alleged killer of Charlie Kirk.
Huh. Let's see. Trying to get the volume on this one.
We're being told that it was not an Israeli conspiracy. It was, according to the FBI, the act of a lone gunman named Taylor Robinson.
Okay. Well, it's not. I'm not getting the volume, so I'll just I'll go ahead and do it. We'll do it ourselves right here. This was the first guy. You guys know the guy that was arrested yesterday. His name was George Zinn. We covered this. He happens to be a Jew. He happens to be present at 9/11. And if you go and find this guy's George Zinn's, if you go to his, he has a video, a 5-minute video, and he talks about his exciting experience at 9/11. He literally says it was an incredible experience, and then he corrects himself. So he goes, well, it wasn't incredible, but it was really cool. Very interesting. Same guy that was there. And he's the guy that we're looking at this as a patsy. It's a switch out. It was a stalling technique. And if it's not, if you guys don't believe that, and you think if you think the FBI actually accidentally got the wrong guy and it was totally legit, if you think that Kash Patel was totally legit and oopsie, we got the wrong guy, you let him go. Why would you let him go? Why would you let this guy go? This guy, he was saying weird shit at the time, but he did say at one point, he said, I did it. He confessed. And then he said, I have a right to remain silent. He said some other stuff. It was really weird. It was really weird. Why would you let him go? Why? And why isn't anyone upset at Kash Patel for just letting him go? Oh, yeah, no, it was the wrong one. Now we're going to tell you it's the right one. Now we're going to tell you it's the right one. By the way, someone should go get a hold of the guys over at the Wall Street Journal, because the Wall Street Journal is still got this up, still has this up on their news site. This is still up. Can you believe it? They're saying, breaking, ammunition engraved with transgender and anti-fascist ideology was found inside the rifle authorities believe was used in Kirk's shooting, sources say. So what happened to that part of the story? Why did we have Alex Jones parading around saying, I have sources telling me this is definitely trans. It's definitely trans. And then the guy turns out not to be. But what about this? Who's saying these things? What type of investigation is this where you're arresting the wrong people? You're switching out your story, constantly having to bait and switch. It's all baiting and switching. And nobody's talking about this part. Can you please, you guys, somebody, if you wanted to make the case to me, please try to make the case to me that we need to trust the FBI. These guys are so bad. We know how bad Kash Patel is. He can't even give us a straight answer about Epstein. He won't look into the Mossad when it comes to Epstein. Is he going to look into anything else here when it comes to who else was involved? Or do we go with this one shooter? Why do we do this? Why do we do this? Why do we always go with the single shooter until proven otherwise? We do this. We've been conditioned to do this since JFK, since Lee Harvey Oswald. We've been conditioned to be like, oh, the lone shooter, the lone shooter. Anyone who thinks it's more than that is crazy. It's crazy that one person can pull this off. It's crazy that 19 hijackers can pull off 4 planes and I guess start 7 wars in the Middle East, 19 with box cutters. You know what is crazy is the minimal explanation. That's the crazy one. We should assume it's a conspiracy in the sense that, of course, more than one person is involved until proven otherwise. That's the crazy idea. The crazy idea should be one person did it. That's the crazy idea. What happened that made us as a society think this and trusting the FBI? Why are we trusting the FBI? They put out a notice. I saw this all over yesterday. There was a whole notice of, we need your help. The FBI needs your help. We're working on this together. We need your help to identify this guy. Did you guys see that come up in your feed? We're working together. Anybody has any leads, share this out on your social. We need the American people to help us. Why would you need our help? What are you talking about? You have access to the most incredible advanced surveillance system the world has ever seen. You're telling us you need our help to identify this person? What? You can track anybody in the world. You can blow up kids in the back of the head with precision technology, and you certainly can get Charlie Kirk in one shot, which you did. And we're supposed to be okay with, oopsie, we got the wrong guy. Oopsie, we got the wrong guy. Oh, the gun's over here. No, it's over there. It was a trans. No, it wasn't. It was this guy. Oh, the father turned him in. We need your help. You need our help? Are you effing kidding? You don't need our help. What you need is you need us to think that we're all in this together. You need to sell us the lie that we're all working on the same goal. We can get through this. We can do it. Alone together, whatever the catchphrase is, it's designed to make us think that we're all working together. We're all working together, aren't we? If we were really all working together, then why don't we hear anything about this? We covered this yesterday. What about this guy? What about Mr. Hand Signal himself and his friend? What happened to the hand signal? You remember this?
Been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
It's 5. Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America?
You see this? And he's filming? What are you filming? Why haven't we seen that footage?
Over the last 10 years.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Look at this. Mr. Hand Signal number 2, black shirt. Look at this.
Great.
And then that's the gunshot. Did you guys see that? Look at this. Look at that. Look at the hat. Look at this.
Now 5 is a lot.
Third
right?
base.
I'm gonna give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
If our FBI was working with us, right? We need your help. Do you have any information leading to the arrest of the one guy? Because it's one guy, remember? You're crazy to think that more than one person would do something. Why would more than one person want to pull off killing somebody with that had that much influence? Why would more than one? What's wrong with you? How dare you? How dare you, sir? How dare you, sir, even suggest that more than one person? We all know that one person solely, a genius, usually gets these things to happen by themselves. That's how these things go. Kash Patel, the head of the FBI. You are the guy, the buck stops with you. You're working, you just bragged about how you solved the case, but you needed our help to solve it, right? Yesterday you needed our help. Today you solved it. You want my help? Let me give you some help. Let me give you some help. The guys that were giving you, that we saw doing the hand signals behind Charlie Kirk seconds before he was murdered, he was assassinated, leave quickly moments later with Charlie Kirk's lifeless body. Same guy. There's the guy in the black. Oh, and there's the white hat. There he is. Running around. Hey, Kash Patel. Hey, you looking into that? Do we have did you get the footage from Mr. White Hat's and Sunglasses' cell phone? Did you get it? Can we see it? Are you working on? Oh, I'm sorry. You already celebrated the win. We already won. It's over. Yay. Yay. It's over. Nothing to see here. And if you're still obsessed with the Israel part of this, well, Kash Patel, FBI director, he ain't going to mention the Israel part. He's going to pretend that doesn't exist. Just like Pam Bondi and Trump pretend that Epstein being a Mossad agent doesn't exist. We didn't look at that. Pam Bondi said, we didn't look at that. No. There is a guy that will double down and tell us without a doubt, 100%, that Israel has nothing to do with this. And you're going to hear it directly from the guy himself. You know who I'm talking about. Netanyahu has to do his own damage control. And it's pretty remarkable how out of the way he's gone in doing this. Here he is. What's this woman? Greta Van something. You guys know her. This is one of the most disgusting interviews. If you guys want to see how not to do journalism, Tucker Carlson shows us how to do journalism. Here's how you don't do journalism. This is 100% damage control on Israel.
Before I let you go, I want you to address one thing, and it's just the absurdity of it. Some of the internet rumors that somehow Israel is behind the Charlie Kirk murder, and I don't believe it for 1 second, but I want you to make a statement. It's so absurd.
That's insane. Israel also changes the orbit of the moon. Israel pushes the sun. I mean, the whole thing it's not only insane, I think it's so absurd, so stupid, and so ridiculous. You can't believe that people are saying this. They just found the perpetrator. They'll get to the bottom of this. But they go, they have no limits. When you hate Jews, when you hate the Jewish state, you're willing to say anything and promote all these absurd rumors.
I hate to interrupt you, Benjamin Netanyahu, Mr. Prime Minister, but do you think, yes, of course, people hate Jews. Yeah. But do you think it's possible to ask questions about Israel without hating the Jews? Are those two independent of each other? Or are those mutually exclusive? What are we talking about here, Prime Minister? If I mind, I ask, leader, kind, gentle leader, can I please ask a journalistic question to you, please? I get it. I get all the Jew haters. Yeah, they suck. But are we allowed to ask, or if we ask a question where we want all Jews to die? Oh, dumb question. My bad. Of course, anybody who asks about Israel wants Jews to die. I forgot. My bad. Where was I thinking? Okay, back to the fake interview.
And by the way, they're willing to kill us all the time. I mean, that's what they're doing. And
they want to kill us. That's right. I forgot. They want to kill like Charlie Kirk, who's not a Jew, but I suppose you can just say it and it can be true. Yeah. If somebody wants to kill all the Jews, starts with Charlie Kirk. Yes. Okay. Got it.
Over the centuries, when Jews, especially in the Middle Ages, the horrific Middle Ages, the worst things were said about Jews you couldn't possibly believe. We were poisoning the wells. We were drinking the blood of Christian children. You name it. I mean, these things that continued actually up to the Holocaust.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Netanyahu. I know I only have you for a minute here, and that's why I hope can we please stay on topic? You're just saying these like wild, crazy things that have nothing to do with what we're supposed to be talking about. So you mind if we? Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I overstepped. My bad. Back to journalism. I mean propaganda. I mean journalism.
The Nazis said the same thing. We're carrying vermin. We're spreading disease, and people believed it. And every time they believed it, this was a prelude to a greater and greater massacre, culminating with the worst massacre of them all, the Holocaust. Well, since then, we've learned, when people spread these lies about us, prepare yourself for the assault. And, they're trying to delegitimize the state of Israel. Charlie Kirk said to me that, he wrote me this detailed letter, you have to fight the slander. These untruths, these vilifications have consequences. And he was right. But I'll tell you one thing, we're fighting on the battlefield against the terrorists and winning. And he was fighting on the battlefield of ideas. And I think he was winning. He was going to win. That's why they shot him. I hope they don't silence him. I don't think people will give in to these ridiculous lies.
Yeah, but you didn't answer my question, Mr. Prime Minister. You came on my show and you just talked a bunch of garbage and you didn't actually address any of people's concerns. Isn't it weird? Isn't it weird? And Greta looking in the camera like, oh yeah, this is how it's supposed to be. Yeah, we're not going to actually have an interview here. That's not. And again, that's why Netanyahu doesn't have to answer for any of the countries he just continues to bomb over and over. And the plan to eliminate the Palestine state, which we know, he's saying it out loud. He says it more out loud in Hebrew than he does in English, but he still says it in English too. And so you're not going to get an interview. You're not going to actually talk about the $40 million that went to Charlie Kirk to represent the needs of Israel. $40 million. $40 million. That's a lot of pressure. I want any of you guys to think about the pressure you would feel. It's hard to understand it because you're like, oh, 40 million. I would love it if I had 40 million. Would you love $40 million from Israel? Would you love that? Think about it. What would that feel like actually to see it in your bank account? What does that feel? What does that look like? When you open your mouth, what kind of things do you have to say in order to earn that money? Who are you representing every time you open your mouth? The pressure that for a 31-year-old who had his whole life ahead of him, learning and discovering. We talk about Tucker Carlson learning and discovering years later. He had an aha moment. Could you imagine the aha moments that somebody like Charlie Kirk could have had beyond what we were just suspecting was happening? But I can tell you right now, 31, 21, 41, 81, it doesn't matter. You have $40 million to represent the agenda of an apartheid state, a military occupation, a weapon in the Middle East that's responsible for millions and millions of deaths and wants more death and destruction. I don't care how old you are. You take that money. There's one thing you better not do. There's one thing you better not effing do. And that is talk like this.
Communities have been pushing the exact kind of hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. Now, I don't like generalizations. Not every Jewish person believes that. But it is true the Anti-Defamation League was part and parcel with Black Lives Matter. It is true that some of the largest financiers of left-wing anti-white causes have been Jewish Americans. They went all in on woke, and it wasn't just ADL. It was some of the top Jewish organizations in the country that have done that. In fact, we have seen this with the recent retreat of Jewish donations that are no longer going to be administered to colleges, right? Mark Rowan, Leon Copperman. Can we get that full list? It's very powerful. The part of so that's totally true. And by the way, Tucker Carlson reinforces this. So I'm going to it was quite a day on the internet. Tucker Carlson was interviewing Candace Owens. We have Candace Owens coming up next hour. And Tucker Carlson mentions that Jewish Americans have primarily been financing cultural Marxist ideas. We said this, by the way, last week, and people came after us. We were on top of it. We actually said it in a different way. We said, I'm glad that Jewish Americans are reconsidering their financing of cultural Marxism. And people misunderstood it intentionally and slandered us as being anti-Semites. But listen to this. Tucker Carlson is completely correct by saying this, that the philosophical foundation of anti-whiteness has been largely financed by Jewish donors in the country.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. And again, this isn't just for the Charlie Kirk tragedy. We need to understand how power works. We need to understand how control works. We need to be able to apply this when the next tragedy happens. This is the last thing we need to be doing right now is waiting for instructions. 2 weeks to slow the curve, right? We're all doing our part. One more jab. We need to challenge what we're being told to do and told to think. Anybody who is thinking that Charlie Kirk is going to be remembered as somebody who championed Israel, and they're going to leave out this last month of his life, is exactly like, don't get upset with my analogy, but it reminds me a lot of Martin Luther King. And let me explain. Martin Luther King had a very low approval rating in the last year of his life. He was not, the shock of his death only resonated with a very small group. I want you guys to know that. History rewrote the story of Martin Luther King. You lost the last year. We don't learn this in school. The textbooks don't tell us about his anti-war activism. They tell us about civil rights. It was civil rights. They go out of their way with Martin Luther King to rewrite the story and make us think that because there's a Martin Luther King Day, it means everybody was in mourning the day we found out he died. That did not happen. That did not happen. They thought he went too far. He was too radical. There's the word, radical. Too radical. He said, I need to challenge that war machine because they're killing everybody. We have this forced draft. We're the African-American, my African-American brothers are first on the line, and then everybody else, it's an economic problem. Poor people end up in the front line. We have to unite against a class war. We have to unite against this military industrial complex. They say, no, Dr. King, no. Stay in your lane, dude. Stay in your lane. The civil rights is what's important. He says, civil rights won't matter if we are destroying the world with our tax money, if we invest in murder in other countries, we will destroy our country. So I cannot do civil rights unless we start with our military industrial complex and take that on. And they said, you'll be sorry. They warned him a year before, and he stuck to it, and they killed him. Very similar circumstances here, in the sense that when you fight the thing that is allowing you to do the thing you're doing in your lane, and we can talk about the difference of what lane, I'm not trying to say, MLK's civil rights is comparative to the debates and the discourse and the extreme viewpoint debates happening on college campuses. I'm not comparing those two. So don't get me wrong. I'm saying it's when the person that has the influence that they do starts to ask questions against the thing that was allowing them to do the thing they were doing, and they get warned, you better stay in your effing lane, and then they don't, examples are made. And to this point is absolutely important. It's after the fact, after the murder, then you start to rewrite the story and pretend that last year of MLK didn't happen, and pretend that we were all in grief the morning we found out about MLK. Only a small part of the country was in grief, not the whole country. Once they rewrote the story, then everybody celebrates MLK Day every year now, and we leave out that last part. Not the same, but it's worth the analogy with Charlie Kirk. And this is going to hit it home for you guys, because this is the rewriting that they're already doing in Israel right now. Here it is.
There behind me is a mural in honor of Charlie Kirk. This could be the first mural in his honor in the world, and it's here in Israel. This is how much he meant to us, because he was a champion of the Judeo-Christian alliance. He was a staunch friend of Israel, and we will never forget those that stand for the truth. So we honor his memory, and from here, we vow to stand together for the truth, because we are under attack, not just in Israel, but globally. The truth is under attack. Let's stand together and let Charlie Kirk's legacy live on.
A mural in Israel. Look at that. The guy who turned down a trip to Israel just 2 weeks ago, turned it down. Netanyahu is claiming that, he was going to come, but now he can't because some trans-Muslim Islamic terrorist murdered him or whatever. It was somebody who hates Jews murdered him. So he can't come to hang out with me. No, that's not. But again, this is the rewrite, and you're seeing we're experiencing the rewriting of Charlie Kirk in real time right now. This is it. This is it. So we have to keep vocal about this and stand strong about this, because this is what we call pulling back the curtain on how power and control work and how propaganda works. And if you guys think that this is the lone gunman, you're inclined to go with the lone gunman theory, because Kash Patel told us we got him. We got him. Never mind all the other mistakes we made. But we got our guy now. He was a genius sharpshooter, and he hated Trump and stuff, and he hated Jews or something like that. That's the story. But stop asking questions. Stop asking questions. And that's it for top censored news of the week. Okay, guys, we're gonna sign off here in a second, but I appreciate all you guys watching. On the outro, you know what? I do see a lot of great comments from you guys. You know what? Let's do a few. Just because I think I think it's, yeah, let me just say hi to you guys. Thank you all for tuning in today. I know this was a special show we did. Yep, Longmeadow, FBI, aka fibbing, backstabbing institution. I love it. FBI, fibbing, backstabbing institution. Great. Hell yeah. And then there's Kash Patel, aka Kash Dontel. Yeah, there it is. And yeah, he doesn't have to answer any questions. No one's asking him. No one's asking him about this stuff. So yes, Leslie, did he say when you hate Jews? Yeah. That's what he said. Oh man. And yeah, Mary Ploppins, thanks for tuning in. He can't even look at the camera. He can't even look at the freaking camera. And another one from Longmeadow. Yeah, BB, I agree. It's insane. Isn't it insane to think that Israel government would do any horrible thing to an American citizen, just like the USS Liberty and Rachel Corrie? Yeah, baby, please shut the F up, you freaking liar. Thank you for that. Appreciate that, Longmeadow. Yeah, garbage conspiracy theories. I hope that's a Athena. Minerva, thanks for tuning in. I hope that's a sarcasm there, because that's, yes, when we talk about conspiracy theorists, that's the point. We're supposed to be written off before we even ask our question. We get written off. That's how it works. Yeah, I know you're with us there, but I hope so. Let's see what else. We'll do a couple more here. Mouse FSF, thanks for tuning in. My MAGA buddy agrees with me that this is all to keep the left-right animosity to continue, but I'm sure ops like this always have multiple goals. Well, I'm glad you brought that up. We actually got into that a lot yesterday, and you guys can go back and watch our coverage. It was actually we did it's actually a two-parter. It's our who killed Charlie Kirk. Jay Scott came on. We talked about this in the first part. We definitely get into this, the right-left theater that certainly we saw amp up, and we were like urging our fellow lefties and righties, or whatever we call you, anybody who's in the establishment or in the God, I had to say in the cult, but in your little team sport, you're in your little team sport. We're urging you not to fall for this. This is certainly one of the goals, and yes, you're right, Mouse. These always have multiple goals to them, and that's certainly one of them. So let's not play into it. Let's just not play into it. We have to come together, even if we disagree on things that Charlie Kirk said. You know, I love how the little let's take excerpts of the worst things and let's blast it everywhere. I don't know what's the point of that. It's so weird to me, because every time I see an excerpt, I see something else that extends what he said, and it sounds better than the excerpt did. It's weird. It's weird. Like there's this quote that somebody's putting around, like Charlie Kirk says he said we shouldn't have empathy. Empathy's horrible. Well, if you read the whole quote, it's actually pretty good. He says, hey, I like the way we go for understanding is with sympathy. So he was replacing empathy to sympathy and saying, I like to use words where I'm not having your experience, where I am communicating, or you're communicating to me, and we're understanding each other's experience. And I read that quote and I was like, man, we talk like that on here all the time. I guess we might be extreme Charlie Kirk hating everyone too, I guess. If we're talking the same way. Isn't that interesting? The people you think are so extreme are using verbiage that you go, huh? It's kind of like, I kind of think that too. We go for understanding. You can be empathetic when you actually have the ability to do that, but sometimes it's just there's another way we can connect with people. That's all that was. So that was just one quote taken out of context. Yeah, guys, thanks for the chiming in here. Yeah, this is Propaganda 101. Israel already using their Charlie Kirk Hasbara once again. Propaganda 101. It's as clear as day, guys. It's as clear as day. Let's keep the eye on the ball. Let's keep knowing that every day something new comes out. Always ask these questions. It's what are they not telling us? Why is this coming out the way it is now? What is the timing of this? What are we supposed to be distracted by? We're not supposed to be talking about the 6 countries that Israel is simultaneously bombing the crap out of. So let's keep asking those questions moving forward. Okay, we're gonna sign off now, guys. I just have one last thought I want to share, because I mentioned yesterday on the show. We talked about what's coming up, and I did say, and if you guys were watching, I said we were thinking about taking a break for a little bit. That's been a thought on my mind. When the Charlie Kirk tragedy happened, it really did hit me. It was such a weird timing, because I was already talking about, there's been kind of a draining element to this, and there's been a lot of pressure to stay on top, ahead. This can be very exhausting, what we do, and we can't do it without you guys. By the way, we can't do it without you guys. But it's okay, and I've heard from other independent media folks. I've had this discussion with them, and it's okay. Sometimes, once in a while, we need to take a step back, not because we have another conflicting event or a trip. And you guys know we've paused before and gone on. Leslie and I gone on some trips, and there's other happenings that sometimes you have to. People leave work for other happenings sometimes, but we don't talk about just taking a pause, just for I don't want to say like for grounding purposes, to heal if you feel like you need healing. And I think that's okay. And I want to urge you guys to think about where you are mentally right now. Where are you spiritually right now? Are you okay? Are you doing okay? It's okay we ask that question to each other and to ourselves. And if you're not, what can we do? What can we do about it? Getting to a point where we can be okay, and we can be the best version of ourselves when we go out in the world and do the thing that we're supposed to do, whatever that calling is. And if this calling, which I somehow stumbled into in this insane Hollywood, Zaya Wood, you've heard all the nicknames, somehow stumbled into this. What was sacrificed? So I'm still working those questions out. Was something sacrificed? Is that the exchange? Do you sacrifice? What does sacrifice look like to do the right thing? What did it look like for Charlie Kirk when he was ready to ask questions that he wasn't previously ready to do? The ultimate sacrifice. I mean, that's a very intense thought to even think about. What is that? What are you signing up for? We're all trying to grow and learn and be better. Maybe Charlie Kirk was trying to grow and learn and be better, despite what his haters might have thought. And you're young and dumb and sometimes do regrettable things. But if we're ready to do the right thing, whatever that means, the right thing, if we're ready to do the right thing, what is the sacrifice for that? So those are questions we have to ask ourselves. And then, can you minimize that sacrifice if you say, hey, I need space for me? It's okay to take a step back. And then, hit the ground running again. And be better. Be stronger. Be more present. Be ready for battle, right? Because it's a battle. We're battling. We're fighting this propaganda machine. We are fighting the censorship industrial complex machine. We're fighting the war machine, the American imperialism, U.S. Israel war machine, class war, a war of fake outs and fear and division and dividing and conquering, a war against that. So we have to be the best we can be when we do that. So I was debating whether to put a limit on it or not, or just be vague. I don't want to be vague. I don't want to be vague. I don't want to be vague. Let's set a parameter here. You guys know we do Tuesdays and Thursdays. Every afternoon we go full afternoons, guys, twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Here we are. So the upcoming 2 weeks here, it's safe to say at this point we're going to probably halt the rest of September. Might come in at the end. We'll see how we're feeling here. By we, I mean me, but I do mean you. I mean us. This is what we say. We means that we're a team and we do this together. So we will probably take 2 weeks and see where we're at. Maybe pop up on another show. You might see me on a Garland Nixon or a Truth Wire. I don't know. We'll see how it feels. But as far as maintaining this show and making sure it's to the quality that I demand, that you deserve, I want us to be at the best we can be. And so the timing is so odd because of everything in the last 2 days here. So odd. Looking at what a sacrifice might look like. It's pretty intense, guys. Pretty intense. The ultimate sacrifice of even just attempting to do the right thing, even just asking a question, which is where it all starts from. It all starts from asking a question. And I urge you guys to continue the fight over the next couple of weeks here. And we'll be here with you. We'll be here. We're not going anywhere. We're just taking a pause, but we will be back. We will still be uploading segments because we got a few that we haven't put up yet on the Rumble, on YouTube. So those will be up, and it'll feel like we're still here because we'll have the new segments up and all that. So that'll be cool. And you guys are welcome to share those out. We love it when you share out our segments because you can have conversations. You can spark interest from people with a particular subject. So we're not out of those. We can get those up in the next couple of weeks for you. At least in the next week, we'll have some go up there for you. Certainly got at least 7 days of content we haven't shared with you guys yet. So that'll be coming soon. And then we'll see you guys back here on our normal Tuesdays and Thursdays, or we might change it up altogether. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we like doing this. We know it's important. We know that it's necessary. And so we will be back. We will see you guys soon. And until then, and I will leave you with this. You guys, there is a conversation that I think is important between Charlie Kirk and between Megyn Kelly. We haven't played it before, and I think it's really important. So I'll play that on the end. Oh shoot, I just saw this. This is great. Ed Rams. Thank you for the Rumble rant. I'm gonna grab this right now. Let's see. Before we go, I saw the Rumble rant and I appreciate it. I want to share this. Ed Rams just did a Rumble rant. Really, really appreciate it. Let me go ahead and copy and paste that, just because for some reason Rumble rants need to have that extra little effort on our end to get this out to you guys. So here it is. Thank you, Ed Rams, for the Rumble rant. Here it is. It is hard running a podcast, especially for smaller channels. The world is a weird place right now. So much darkness and hate. Glad to have found means to connect with you all. Thanks, Matt. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ed. Yeah, we're all part of the same thing here, guys. We're all good, and we know you guys have the other channels. You'll be fine. You have plenty of other people to tune into. That we're all in the same. We're all trying to do this together, and sometimes we have to take little pauses. So that's fine. That's fine. That's great. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Making sure I didn't miss any other Rumble rants. Okay, we got you guys. Thank you so much, and until we meet again, which will be soon. The days go fast, guys. These days go pretty damn fast lately. I don't know if you've noticed. I know I'm not the only one. Like a week goes by like that. So we'll see you back here soon enough. We'll be back with some Homeless Left for you. I think back to our normal schedule twice a week, unless we do a little change up. But if we change it up, it'll be for the good. It'll be for the good for everyone. We'll see. We'll have to sit on it. But thank you guys for tuning into our special Friday Top Censored News. We're gonna leave this one up as is. I'm not editing this one. This just stays as is. Top Censored of the news of the week, live for you today on this special Friday. And have a good weekend, everyone. And remember, when you go out in the world, it's important that you keep these things consistent. It's about consistency. Have courage, have principle, and above all else, conviction. And I always do those in different orders because they're all important. Courage, conviction, principle, all important. I'm gonna leave you guys with Charlie Kirk on stage with Megyn Kelly. And I hope that Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson, I know Ben Shapiro, do not trust that guy at all. Do not ever trust Ben Shapiro, who, by the way, is taking over. Interesting, right? The guy that's taking over his company. That's so interesting. That was announced. That son of a bitch. But the ones that are also kind of seeming to be ready to talk about the thing you're not supposed to talk about, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson's there. I hope they can keep the torch going and do what Charlie Kirk was unable to do. He started the conversation, but we need the conversation to continue in that arena. It's an important arena, and we don't want to write it off. There's a lot of people. A lot of the youth are tuned into that arena. So we need more courage. So listen to this conversation. I hope you guys are inspired. At least I was a little inspired by this. It's a good one to go out on and just watch how Megyn Kelly, how she responds. Because I think she might be ready. She might be ready, especially after everything that just happened. And that's it. We'll see you guys soon. And until then, you know the drill, guys. So we'll just say this. I got to grab the right clip. Here we go. You guys know the drill. Come on, power to the people. Power to the people. And of course, free Palestine. See you guys soon.
Do you think there's any intel community involvement in this?
I wouldn't be surprised one bit. I am convinced, based on my own sources and my own reporting on this story, he wasn't one of ours.
So he was an American, which leads basically three options: MI6, Saudi, or Mossad.
Yep.
Which one would you choose?
I guess Mossad, given his connection to Ghislaine Maxwell.
So what does that mean?
Well, I mean, it's possible that that's the reason everything's getting buried, that there is some treasure trove, and it's getting buried because...
How many people here believe that? Raise your hand. Okay, I'd say about half the hands think that it's being buried because of an Israeli thing.
It could be. I really don't know.
And I have no evidence to suggest that.
No, me neither. I did think it was very odd how look, half of you raised your hands because you've heard that theory, you've heard it debated, you have questions, but the one time Pam Bondi was asked a question about this at the cabinet meeting on Monday, she was like, and as for whether he was an agent, that I don't know. I haven't looked into that. I'll get back to you. You haven't looked into it? What do you mean? So that was kind of a fishy answer.
And Megan, remember Alexander Acosta in 2007, he said he was told to treat Epstein carefully because he was an intel asset. That was one of Trump's cabinet secretaries who was literally a U.S. attorney 3 hours from here in Florida. He said that himself.
Well, and let me tell you the consequences of that. His subpoena, his search warrant on Jeffrey Epstein's residence was very narrow. It was not the kind of like, let's get everything. Let's see everything inside this guy's, dressers and so on. It was very, very narrowly tailored. And to this day, that's what the FBI is stuck with. So it really is possible that Dan and Cash got in there and, in like a Geraldo and Al Capone's vault situation, opened it up and we're like, oh my gosh, there's nothing in here. Like, we did not find the magic documents or photos or evidence of anything. And why not? I don't know we'll ever know why not. I'm not sure we'll ever know, but